Hey, what's up? So I am reviewing Smackdown. Um, I would say today was an overall good show. As for me, I think in general, and I tweeted this before. Follow me on Twitter when there's Smackdown and Raw going on. I live tweet. Um, my Twitter is IAmJustBee. B. My son is. Um, so to me in general, if I'm being honest, I've always said that the SmackDown, the men's storyline is better. And it's so good that it carries, if that makes sense. Like if the none of the bloodline is there, it could carry with Imperium, Brawling Brutes, Drew McIntyre, Ricochet, and Braun Strowman, um, the Viking Raiders. It carries. Like it doesn't need one person to make it seem interesting. As far as the women, not so much, because most of the storyline was based around Ronda. So when she left and didn't sign the contract for January, let me take these glasses off because they glare. Um, and I think she just came back, what, February, like March or something. The storyline was lacking. And then for Raw is different. The women carry the storyline in that. But there's not a lot of women, and it's mainly like Rhea, Bianca, Becky. Okay, Rhea had became champion, so she's gonna be on SmackDown now. But like they and Damage Control, they carry it. Like the men, not so much. Outside of Seth, it was Riddle. It was I don't even know what brands Sami Zayn was on last year, but it was the almost Bobby thing because like I've said I've started rewatching a year ago this time because my son got into it and I haven't watched wrestling consistently in like 14 years. Like when I last was watching wrestling, Kofi Kingston was Jamaican like before now. So that says a lot. Like I literally in last year because my son was into it, we needed to know the history. And for me, when he's into something, I always try to teach him the history. And me growing up, I told him I was a big basketball fan. I'm still a big basketball fan. I can talk basketball all day. And WWE, like I get starstruck. I would get starstruck if I met what I consider a WNBA or NBA legend or WWE legend. Like musicians don't do it for me. My ex is a musician. He's played with very famous people. My family are musicians. Like they don't, you know. So um, yeah, so like when he does basketball or something, like he got into the players and he's like, oh, this player plays like this. And I'm watching their game and I'm like, no, they play like this person. So like he knows the 90s, like the Kobe's, the Tracy McGrady's, the Penny Hardaway's, the Kareem. He even knows um, like Shaq when he first came into Magic and all that. But he even knows, I even took him back to Magic and Larry Bird, Jordan and the Pistons. He's even went far back to like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Wilt Chamberlain, Dr. J, Bill Russell. I didn't tell him to go that far. I go, even though I know the history of that, I only go back to 80s because I'm like, that's 40 years, you know. So with wrestling, when he got back into it and he was like, oh, this is it, like when the Usos did the 1D or the splash. And I was like, that's a Dudley Boys move. I had to tell him about the table ladders and chairs, Christian Edge, Dudley's, Hardys. The three greatest tag teams for me personally. Now, when they round out the top five, top 10, the Usos are up there, the New Day are up there, outside of the three I mentioned. Um, and when I watched the countdown, I forgot about Rock and Sock. I forgot about Mankind and the Rock. And I remember that when they showed the clips, I was like, I remember that vividly. Um, I remember the Kane and Undertaker one and stuff like that. But for me, it'll be them five, and then it will be Tony Atlas and Rocky Johnson because they were the first black tag team match champions. Um, and they broke barriers in that way. So, but I told them all about that, the Attitude Era. Um, I knew about Batista, but I was in and out because I was like a senior in high school when he came out. I wasn't really checking for wrestling no more. I stayed on to it because my brother's 6 years younger than me. So when he was 8, I was 14. So he would watch it real heavy. He even had a wrestling birthday party at 8. Stone Cold, all that stuff like that. What was that, 2001? Yeah. Oh, I'm old. Okay, so I would watch it then, and then when he kind of grew out of it, like I was 16, 17, I stopped watching. And I was like 04, 05. Okay. And I say 05 because I was born in 87, but I'm a September baby, so I was still 17 when I went to college for 2 weeks. But yeah, tonight was good. The opening was my brain is scattered. The opening was I don't remember the opening. Oh, they went through all that. Okay, it was the Brawling Brutes versus Imperium. I love Butch. Like, as I was tweeting, like, how it was crazy how last year I didn't even know who nobody in that ring was, Imperium Brawling Brutes, besides Sheamus. Like, I knew Sheamus. I wouldn't watch it consistently like I've been doing the past year, but I would watch it in and out. And I was there when he was part of the bar and he had the mohawk. Like, every time, once in a while, I was like, I'm going to see what's going on in wrestling. Or I ain't got nothing else to watch. So, like, Sheamus is one of those people, heel or face, I love him. Very versatile, very consistent. Same with KO, same with Drew McIntyre. Them three, to me, are some of the most versatile wrestlers that are in the game today. Like, they can do the powerhouse moves because they're big and they're strong and they're, but they also ain't got no problem doing the frog splash, doing the jumping out of the ring. Like, they have both. Oh yeah, I had to show LJ like Walls of Jericho, the Hard Fantasy, who she does and then the RVD for also, like, my son knows his wrestling. Okay, so in the past year we've watched the Usos and all that, and the Hell in a Cell match, which I still think is one of the best ones I've ever seen. And I even tweeted with WrestleMania, I should have did a review, but I was getting off of being sick last week, of how Edge even tied up Finn to the corner of the thing, like how Woods did Jey. I say, oh, he took a page out of the New Day Usos Hell in a Cell match. Okay, so yeah, Sheamus, and then I was surprised it was 3-on-2. I love Butch's finger manipulation thing. I said every time, I was like, I need to learn how to do that, okay? Because if I could learn how to do that in real life, and somebody get on my nerve, and I ain't gotta physically fight you, I could mess your fingers up, like, okay? Listen, I'm doing that. Who, you can change the channel? Where's the remote? Oh, sorry, y'all. Um, and then what else? So after that, um, I forgot who won. Honestly, with that match, it was a pretty good match. Imperium versus Brawling Brutes is always a good matchup. I was surprised. I tweeted this, and I'm gonna say this: when they were distracting the referees, and Butch was in a corner climbing, but he was just sitting there waiting. I was like, I don't know if it's part of the storyline, or if he's just like looking and being nosy and he lost track of where he was, because he was just standing in the ring and he was up looking like this while Gunther was talking to the ref or whatever, and then he was standing there for like so long and then looking around like this, and then Kaiser came up and like sabotaged it, and then they caused them to lose. And I was like, if that was part of the storyline, I was like, that was not executed well at all. Okay, gotta get better with that. Okay, because you have to make it believable. Like, before, okay, like I said, I watched wrestling in and out. Okay, and the Bellas was on it when I was watching it as well. Before the reality show, because now I'm into wrestling and stuff, and I get bored, and I'll watch Total Divas. I watch the Bellas reality show now, like on Hulu. Before I watched Divas, they played heels so well that I could not stand them. You hear me? Like, now it's very few people that could play heels that well, and then when they're off camera, you're like, oh, one of those would be Roman Reigns. Like, you can respect them, but you can't stand them. um, who's another person that's like that? I was gonna say Pam, but that's not her real name. What is the girl's name? Bailey. Bailey's her real name. Pam is her real name. Okay, so, because she used to have it on her Instagram. She she plays a real good heel, because if you didn't follow her Instagram and stuff like that, you were like, she's terrible. That her, Roman, Dominik, Rhea, they got that, okay? But Rhea is not as tough as I would think I would want to say, because with the women, she'll come out, like she came out to help, I think, Becky, and when she was getting jumped, I think, by like Damage Pro or something. Then at the end she does this. Like, I got you and I helped you now, but I'm watching you. That blows the whole heel thing. She did the same with Charlotte, I think. Was it Charlotte or Bianca? She did the same thing. So I'm like, we know they cool in real life. Like, we know it's a sports entertainment. But like, bro, that's like a break character type situation for me. Um, the Usos, um, I would say they're not even heels anymore to me. I wouldn't say. They're not on the verge where some people, I think, can't stand them, honestly. But I feel like they're universally loved as people and as characters. If they wouldn't even be the hero, they would play. If there was a such thing as a mid-level, like not a heel or not a face, just that's where they would fall. Because I'm like, for the most part, you like them. You like, people love them. And then when a certain stuff happens, you be like, come on, bro. But it's not to the point where they're such bad guys, their heels that bad that you can't stand them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's different. Like, oh, who else plays that real well? Ronda Rousey. She plays a heel very well. Or very, very well. She comes out. I don't give a attitude, arm bar, can't stand her. Wrestling as a persona. Very sure she's very nice in person. Her wrestling persona, you'd be like, oh, okay. So yeah, I was surprised that they won. And then after that, I was shocked to see Ivar and Ricochet. And I don't know if it's because I didn't watch all of Raw, even though I recorded it. Only got up to the part where I forgot what part I got up to. To the part where it was I think the Street Profits versus KO and Sami. Um and when I saw it, I was like, I don't know if Ricochet gonna win. And I really like Ricochet. But I was like, Ivar is a big dude. And I was like, and Ricochet has a lot of agility, very versatile. You know what I'm saying? A great performer in the ring, can do flips and stuff that little boys do at the age between like 9 and 16. I'm grown as hell. I can't do them flips. I wish. Okay, I'll be out here showing out. If I could do half that. Listen, my hair is a mess, so forgive it. But yeah, so I was surprised when he picked them up, and I was like, that's dedication to this gym. When they be doing those them squats and stuff, that's how you know he be dedicated. Because I was like, he almost picked that man up. Then every time like someone big gets on the top of the rope, I always be like, you too big to be doing that, like sarcastically funny. I got my son saying it, and I've already gotten those. I was like, oh, if he fall first, my first thing is he too big to be doing that. Then I'm like, if he does like this, like Ricochet attacks him, and he does like this, too quick or not being cautious, he gonna fall back. But Ricochet won, surprised and happy. Okay, then Shotzi and Natalaya versus Liv and Raquel. I love these four matchups. It's because it's two powerhouses, Raquel and Natalya, with two women that are, how do you say, I'm slipping my mind. Two women that are, I would say, kind of irrational in the ring. Has a lot of agility. You don't know what they're going to do. Like Liv has the Harley Quinn persona down, and the Harley Quinn is very intelligent but a little crazy. That's what that's exactly mixed with the powerhouse, and that's kind of what Shotzi is with Natalya, because Shotzi has the she go from Kim Possible thing going on, and she was very intellectual, even though she was more intelligent than Dr. Draken low key. Dr. Draken just as far as planning stuff out, she looked crazy. So it's like both, and I wanted Liv and Raquel to win because I like Liv very much so, and she lost it. But I don't know. I don't know why I wanted them to win, but I love Liv's persona. Um, it'd be Raquel having the tag team titles again if they win, and Liv had just had the women's SmackDown championship not too long ago. But if they would have lost, it would have given Raquel a chance to have singles matches to build up her um, presence in the ring, so she can fight Rhea or Bianca. Like, she's a powerhouse. Top three powerhouse matches, I either want Bianca versus Raquel, Bianca versus Rhea, or Rhea versus Raquel, because all three of them can lift. They're such powerhouses. I think it'd be a great match. Um, just like I want Brock versus Braun, and if they've done it in the past, I didn't see it, so they need to redo it. um, if Shotzi and Natalya would have won, Natalya hasn't had a tag team title in a while. And Shotzi hasn't had one since NXT. I had to Google it. So it'd have been her first. And I would have been here for that because I've said months ago on Twitter that they need to elevate these women, the women that fought, these four women, as well as Zelina Vega, because they might be mid-card level, but they have the potential for stardom. Like, we have the stars, like Bianca's become a star. We have Becky and Bailey, three of the four horsemen, and Charlotte as stars. But Charlotte's not really wrestling like that. She's at the level of Roman. She comes in when they need her. Other than that, she ain't there. Um, and Becky, I'm surprised she's doing it as much. They must have the baby on the bus and stuff with them, because she's she's doing the daggone thing for her to be a mom of a toddler. I'll give her kudos to that, because listen, being a mom to a 2-year-old in itself is tiring. You hear me? That's the age when they explore stuff more because they could walk. They try to sass because they could talk. That's when the picky eating don't start till like 3 or 4. But I have a 9-year-old, so okay. And then after that, who else fought? I'm trying to think of who else fought. Okay, Ricochet and Ivar, them and them. Mm-mm-mm. And then it was, I can't think. Okay, then it was the Legado de Fantasma versus the Judgment Day. And I've said this prior to months ago when Legado de Fantasma came onto Facebook, not Facebook, SmackDown. I was like, they need to make their way to Raw, or Judgment Day needs to make their way to SmackDown. I said, because they each have three men and a woman, and it's a good matchup. That's why I was like, when they finally came out to help Ray a couple weeks ago, I said, somebody looking at my tweets, or it's a lot of fans that got the same idea I got, because it seems like everything I've tweeted out has happened. So I don't know who, if they're looking at my tweets, or me and the writers got the same ideas, but y'all need to hire me. instead of just use my ideas, okay? But yeah, like it was Ray and Santino. Is that how you say his name? Poop. Santo de Escobar. Sorry. And then yeah, Santo de Escobar. Sorry, y'all. It's late. I've been up all night. My son had a sleepover yesterday. We went to go see Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers movie. I got my shirt on still. Um, so I'm exhausted. But Santo de Escobar and Ray versus Dominik and Damien, and that's why I said Damien is such a good not Damien. Dominik is such a good heel because how you gonna talk about you bullied your dad for months, okay? For months to get him to hit you. He finally and then challenge him to WrestleMania. He finally hits you back, fights you at WrestleMania, beats you, and then you gonna say what kind of father? Then gonna say what kind of father um beats up his son? Like I was looking like, did we not have? I said you be. I was like, ain't that the you dagged if you do, you dang if you don't, ain't it? Cause you gonna be like, oh, hit me, but then get upset because you lost. But if he would have said he wasn't gonna fight you, then you'd have been in the middle doing your promo talking about oh, he a punk because he ain't want to fight me. That's what makes him here. That's why he got booed as loud as he did. He got booed as loud as he did. Because I was like, what the hell is going on? Okay, so that, and then what else? Oh yeah, um, before that, it was a promo segment with Woods and L.A. Knight. Yeah, and I was like, I wonder if Creative saw all the foot traffic he was getting on his Up Down channel, and decided to add a segment in there, or if it was Woods' idea to bring it to the forefront. But honestly, I'm glad that he's working. Um, since Big E is out and Kofi is out. Kofi will probably be out for another couple weeks because I was like, I don't want him to be left behind because it's just him. He's 1/3 of the New Day. So I wish they would give us an update on Big E's neck. That too. Um, also, that's gonna be interesting. Man. Also, I thought it was gonna be a twist. I ain't even gonna hold you. I thought it was gonna be a twist where he was in the arguing Woods and Madcap was gonna be like, "Nah, bro, I got this. Let me get this." And it was gonna be a type of match like that tonight. To be honest, that'd have been dope. Uh, but I'm here for Woods versus LA Knight. Regardless, I couldn't stand him either. But he's grown on me, and I think it's the catchphrases that makes it funny. That yeah, all that. And his gear reminds me of a John Claude Van Damme action movie from the 90s. Like he has 90s gear, action movie star gear. And I tweeted that. No, I didn't. I posted a story on my Instagram about it because I went to go see them live in DC, and he retweeted it. So he agrees with me now. I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Speaking of the Damien and Dominik versus Santo and Ray match, I like the Selena's gear. I love the LWO. We haven't had a something WO since the 90s. Um, I love it. I'm here for it. I was like, oh, it's gonna be two versus. We got three versus two on the side. So if something pop off on the side, you know, it's in favor of Legado de Fantasma because they have two men and a woman on the side, and then Judgment Day just got Finn and Rhea, and Finn can't really wrestle because he got them staples in his head. I can't believe my man got staples in his head. That's crazy. And then I went on his page today because I showed my son because my son wants to see it. He's such a boy. Then they show he put another post like 3 weeks prior. His calf tore. So I'm like, my man just went in there messed up. That's dedication, okay? You hear me? That's also having a high tolerance of getting back to health. Probably I feel like a high tolerance of pain Because if you would have took a regular person like that, they'd have been like, I ain't going out there. Or give me some more wheats. You know what I'm saying? So also know that not unless you got a guaranteed amount you get paid if you get injured, like the football and basketball stars, you probably ain't getting paid while you are out. So that's also a situation. Um, Not unless they put you on like short term disability. But yeah, so that was good. I honestly thought because Legado de Fantasma had the numbers with one extra person that they was gonna win. They didn't win at all. It was funny seeing Rhea chase Selena out the ring. I had said because they're friends in real life. They're real close. Them two and Bianca with the NXT and all that together. But I was like, okay, she flipped Rhea over. I'm here for it. Whatever. Then the main event, Jey and Sami. If it was me, the backstage encounter would have been a little different. A little different. So Solo hit KO. KO had to go to the medical people, whatever. Um, Jey, Sami approaching Jey in the background. I'm trying to put my weights up here. Would have been a whole different situation because if you give me 3 haluva kicks, and I know it's a match, and then we won you and all that, but 3 haluva kicks, and then you want to come up and talk, it wouldn't have been no talking, bro. As soon as you would have came up to me, we'd have been fighting off the rip. You hear me? The refs would have came and tried to break it up, little fake refs or whatever. Then we would have went out and finished what we started in the back. That would happen like that. Then when Solo would have came out, I thought he was gonna solo Samoan Spike his brother. That'd have been a real twist of events. Okay. But he ended up doing Sami, and then he was gonna do it again, and Jey super kicked him, and that was before the ending. Okay, before I even get to the ending part, because you know I'm all about looks in here. I went to cosmetology school. I went to, okay. So I missed. It's funny because last week before WrestleMania, I was like, I missed the Usos in all white. They came out in all white. I was trying to see what's on the side of their leg, and it said Bloodline, whatever. And then Jay's had red, black, and white shoes on for the last couple of weeks. So it was surprising to see him in all red shoes and a red arm. But it was also weird hearing her say his name and where he built from and how much he weighs without saying, and he's 1/2 of the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champion. Because, like I said, I just started watching and getting invested a year ago again. And that's all he's been, him and his brother. So that was weird. And that was the first time I heard just their names without it. 1. 2, I love the gear. I miss the shorts because I've seen matches in the past. My son has me watching with him on YouTube. With him in the shorts and his brother, his body looks good in the shorts. I will say, if it was me with the all red shoes and the red sleeves, I would have did black knee pads because the red knee pads was too much red with that. But last week I was like, "Where's Riddle at? I miss Riddle." I was on his page because I was like, "Riddle's hilarious. He brings the comedy like R-Truth." And outside of Seth, he, like I've said prior, he was the storyline. He was very intricate part of the storyline. So when he showed up and went out there with Sammy, I was like, yes. But then he came. I was like, but it's Smackdown up. And I understand they about to do a draft and all that. I don't know if they do that live or whatever. But I'm like, if you gonna shake up the people, and you might split groups up, which I think Roman's gonna be on both brands because he's undisputed. KO Sami's gonna be on both brands because they're undisputed. Bianca's gonna stay on Raw because she's the woman's champ. Rhea's gonna stay SmackDown because she's the SmackDown champ. Everyone else is up in the air. Um, nope. Theory's gonna stay on Raw because he's the U.S. champ. Gunther on SmackDown because he's the Intercontinental champ. Now, if they switch them, then they would have to switch titles. It makes no sense. Like, Theory would have to get the Intercontinental and Gunther would have to get the U.S. champion. Not unless they're going to switch the titles to those brands as well. Like, Theory will be in Smackdown, but he's still the U.S. champion. Okay. So, but he came out and I was like, yes, because I'm like, he brought the beef. I miss his fighting style. He's very much like Ronda and Shayna when it comes to fighting. They all fought the same type of thing, and Bobby and Brock. All of them fought MMA or UFC or something like that. Like, he brings the comedy and all of that. So, he was kind of what he was to Elias what Ali is to Dolph right now. So that's a good ending. But if he goes to Raw until the draft, I'm here for it. I just want to see where these people are. And it was like, Triple H's like, oh, it's going to be a big switch up. Hopefully, it's a huge switch up. You know what I'm saying? And when I mean huge, I don't mean everybody from Raw go to SmackDown, vice versa. I mean half the people that's on Raw stay there. And half the people that's on SmackDown stay there. And then the other half people from Raw and the other half people from SmackDown get switched. So now you got to get reused to new women, to new men, and vice versa. And I know some of them was traveling regardless of what brand they was on both days. Like the Usos traveled all the time because they were the undisputed champions. And then like, I don't know if Bianca did. I think she only was there for Raw or something like that. But sometimes the women be there for both. Like I think Natalia's there for both in the past. I don't know if she is now. But like for me, honestly, if they don't need me, I know sometimes they'll be like, oh, the writer switched it up. You need to be here. Or you're here. Can you be part of the story? You know what I'm saying? I understand that aspect. And that's why people come and also you get paid and stuff like that for coming. But if I'm only on one brand for one day, especially me now at my big age, I say my big age, like I'm in my 40s. I'm not. But the age I am with me being a single mom with with a 9-year-old, I would only stick to my one brand, not unless they call me and be like, hey, can you come on SmackDown this week or two? Or I would be like Tamina and work only backstage with the women backstage or work part-time. Like, that's just me. That's just me. Like, if it was me 10 years ago on up, 2013 on up, sign me up for everything. You hear me? This will be like I'm doing something that I love on top of me traveling with people, the same people. It's like being in college all over again. Okay? Shout out to A&T, North Carolina A&T, the best HBCU in the world. Aggie Pride. Okay? It'd have been like doing that times two. Because now I'm traveling with the people I love to work with, making the money I like to make, and seeing, even though you travel a lot of places, not unless you go out after you go to work, you don't really. I wonder how many of them go out after work. Like the thing today, internet 10, Smackdown. Okay, there it's 7 o'clock. That's understandable West Coast. But I'm in like on East Coast. You go out, take a shower, you get dressed. Do you drive to the next destination then? Or do you go to sleep in the destination you are now and then wake up at 5 and then drive? Like, which one is better for the wrestlers? Two, do you go out at every city or do you go straight to the room and chill? Because I'm like, y'all travel so much, but I know y'all don't see every city all the time. I don't know. I feel like they drive to the respective city, the next city. They go check into the hotel. They go to sleep. They wake up. They might work out, take a shower, eat, get dressed, go to the stadium, be there from like 2 to whenever it ends. Say, okay, so after SmackDown right now, SmackDown ends on TV at 10, but ends for the live audience at like 10:45, 11 o'clock. So they don't leave SmackDown till about 12 and then do it all over again the next day. So, I don't know. I don't know. I was just asking. Anyways, thank you for listening to my rants. I'm tired. What time is it? It's 10:42. About to go to sleep. Okay. My son is probably asleep. I can't see. I ain't got my glasses on. Let me put my glasses back on. He half asleep watching Captain Underpants on Netflix. And yeah. So I will be live tweeting next Monday. Y'all enjoy y'all Easter Resurrection weekend. Okay. Oh, it is the weekend. They don't work, so they flying home or whatever. That I'll be flying straight home today, like because I live on the East Coast. If the thing ended at 7, if I get out 8, they got an 8 o'clock flight. I'm flying straight home tonight. Yay, 5-hour flight. Cause I think it's 5 hours. Well, it's 5 hours from Vegas, from Raleigh, where I live at. So, flight if I get on the flight, check in at 8, fly at like 10ish. Get there, so 5 hours from there will be 3 a.m., but it'll be 6 a.m. there the next day. I don't know if that'll be better for them, and then sleep all Saturday, or at least till noon, and then, or stay in the city, sleep until like 4 or 5 a.m. You know what I'm saying? And then fly and get home at like, so it'll be, if I fly at like 5 o'clock there, that'll be 10 o'clock Pacific time. That'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time. Whichever one is better. Me specifically, if I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna go home. Well, honestly, me being a single mom, I would probably fly home the next day. Because I know once I land, my son will be up and on go, and I'll be exhausted. So I'd rather sleep now and then get there and then sleep on the plane 5 hours as well, headphones in, and then be on go. Yeah, but anyways, hope y'all have a great Easter Reservation weekend, and I will post something on Monday night for Monday Night Raw after I live tweet it, because I just got done live tweeting. And see you later. Bye.